This is a guide to escalate with girls to have sex with you on a date. It's designed to get you results with speed using simple strategies. Now I'm going to show you some of the tactics that I give to guys where I run their Tinder accounts for them, and when they end up getting on these dates after I secure them a date, they use these tactics to have sex with them. So I promise if you focus, you're going to get life-changing results just as they have. Now pay attention, get a pen, a piece of paper, and make some notes because I'm going to give you every single thing you could possibly need to have sex with a girl on a date. Anyway, these are the results you should be expecting because this is what's worked for me in the last 10 years. And this kind of results I got. So if you're just doing what I'm doing, it should work pretty well for you as well because it's worked for countless other guys that I've helped and run their Tinder accounts for. Anyway, escalating with girls on dates. My tactics to escalate on dates to have sex with girls from the last 10 years. So that's what I've been doing, degenerate stuff. And I still do it to this day. And this is what I use and this is what's helped me do pretty well in the field. And this is what works for guys that ask my advice and where I run their Tinder accounts to them. Anyway, I'm including some golden nuggets as well. Just going to keep it low key and teach you everything I've got basically in store for you. Anyway, here's what we're covering. How to escalate into sex with girls on dates. Tactics that have taught thousands of men to sleep with countless women. Now, I run over 30 active Tinder profiles for men, okay? So my experience is pretty darn good. I'm really good at this stuff. Like, if I had to say one thing I'm good at, it's definitely dating women and getting women. That's one of the things I'm great at. And my parents aren't proud, but guess what? It's pretty cool, right? Anyway, let's get started. Enough of the jokes. Let's get serious. Escalation mindset, the foundation. Anyway, first things first. Starting off, let's run a mindset check here. The first mistakes at escalation is people go to one of two extremes. Now, they either escalate too hard and weird the girl out, or they don't escalate at all and they end up being friend zoned. Now, there is a balance in the mix to get the best results with girls, and that comes from a tactic I call push and pull. Now, throughout this guide, I will be teaching you push and pull tactics to flirt with girls, and there are other complex methods, but this is the most beginner friendly from what I know and what I teach. Anyway, let's explain what push and pull tactics are. So firstly, what is push and pull? Essentially, it means that you go in for a move and escalate with her smoothly. Then you back off to tease her to make you chase you. So basically, think of it as a fishing reel. You're fishing in your bait and then you're pulling it back in and the fish comes closer to the bait and then you reel it in again, you throw it back out. That's kind of a way to see it. Anyway, you start by doing this in a light way to gauge her interest. And by light, I mean touching her arm, hugging her and working your way up to a kiss. Now, with each touch, you want to progress much more and keep going up and up so you can eventually lead into sex. Now, here are the types of escalation, talking versus physical. So, escalation typically goes one of two ways, and these two ways are either talking and physical. So what this means is either A, you can flirt by making comments that are push and pull, or you can make physical moves that are push and pull. There is no difference really in terms of where you will end up, but there are small factors such as talking being a little bit weaker and it doesn't lead to sex as quickly as physical does, but it's much easier to get right. So what this means is if you do talking type of escalating, like, you know, making comments, complimenting her, I'll be showing you some stuff about that a little bit later on. You're not going to get as far as you would being, you know, when you touch her. When you touch her, you're going to be able to push for much more and get better results. Anyway, physical does take some practice, but some advice for you is to be touchy from the start of the date so she assumes it's your vibe and she won't get weirded out when you decide to start touching her randomly throughout the middle of the date. That's going to be a bit more weird. But if you touch her from the get-go, she's just going to be more comfortable with it. Anyway, doing this is going to reduce your chance of being rejected for a touch. Even if she does reject you, you just back off and build up again to the next level of progression. Anyway, no girl wants to be seen as easy, so some girls will reject your moves, they will reject your touch because they want to come as hard to get, right? No girl wants to be seen as a slut. It's just how it is. They don't want you. It's not that they don't want you, it's because more so of society's perception. No girl wants to be seen as a slut, but they want to be treated as one. And if a girl doesn't want you and she doesn't want you to touch her, she would have shown up to the date in the first place. By showing up to the date, she is trusting you to not do stupid stuff to her that I'm not going to say, okay? You get what I mean. By showing up to the date, you've already won. That's one of the things that I've got to clarify. If you're on the date, you've won. You just got to put the work in I'm about to teach you. Anyway, environmental advantages. Using your environment to your advantage. Anyway, your ability to escalate depends on your environment, and a few factors come into play here. Your knowledge, then the environment's playfulness, and then the opportunities to make comments and moves. Knowledge just means how well you know the area. For example, I know Manchester Piccadilly like the back of my hand. Still to this day, I can take any girl there I want and I can do all sorts of magical tricks and playful moments. In fact, I know when the bridges of Media City close, everything. I know that place like the back of my hand. I know every single detail of that city. Now, This means when I take a girl on a date, I can lead her, I can put my arm around her, and if I drive around, I look like I know what I'm doing. Like I can literally make turns, drive really fast. I can do all sorts of stuff that just makes you look way more confident, way more assertive, and this in turn makes me look more attractive. On top of that, if I'm getting head from a girl while I'm driving, I'm not going to have any troubles with driving because I know that area so well. However, if you throw me, for example, in, let me say, for example, Germany, in Berlin or something, I don't know that place. And if a girl's giving me head, I'm going to probably struggle quite a fair bit. Now, that is an extreme example, but the point is, know your area. Anyway, the next one is playfulness. This is like going to bowling or indoor climbing and be able to correct her form or touch her to help with, the activity. And this breaks tension in the date to be able to touch and to be able to escalate eventually into sex. Anyway, then opportunities come from going to a place like escape rooms or a place for couples so you can get labeled as a couple. For example, if you went to a restaurant venue or something made specifically for couples, or just not even for couples, sometimes they offer you a table and say, oh, you two a couple, or something like that, right? And that in turn places an imaginary thought in of her head of you two being a couple, and it generates attraction. It's a bunch of psychology that I'm not going to go into. I'm just going to keep it simple. Anyway, scenario examples, some actual examples for when you're on the date. So this is going to be literal physical examples, okay? I'm going to be giving you some scenarios where you may need to escalate with girls so you can get an idea of how to do it. So escalation scenario number 1, in a crowd, okay? So if you're on a date with a girl and you're in a busy market like London, Chinatown, or Manchester, or whatever, right? And there is often large crowds in these sort of environments. Now you're going to use the environment to your advantage by grabbing her hand and then leading her through the actual crowd. Now this is going to basically make you look like Prince Charming, and it's going to make you look like this charismatic guy that really cares about her, whatever, right? In her head, you're the shit. In your head, you probably just don't care. You just want to have sex. That's the truth. When you're on these dates, what do guys think? Just sex. Unless you want a long-term relationship. I don't know. Anyway, what you're going to do then is you're going to choose to let go or either hold and build up from there. That's it. It's up to you what you do from there. So here's another example. If you're on a crowded bus or train as well, you can use this tactic. Sometimes when I used to meet girls back in university, they didn't like crowded places and they didn't like going on a bus because they were worried that, if they were going to get touched or whatever. So what I would do is either I'd pull them in really closely to me and hug them on the bus or the train when I was, taking public transport back in those days. And sometimes if a girl does come to see me and she's coming by public transport, I often end up standing right at the front of, the train doors so I can lead her out and then walk her out like a bodyguard or whatever. This is going to make you look really attractive if you can do that and pull that off. And it just makes you look more assertive and dominant. Now, of course, some of you may not be comfortable with crowds yourself, but if you're a man, you should really be a bit more confident in scenarios like that. Otherwise, I don't know how you ended up in a date. But jokes aside, let's move on. Now, escalation scenario number 2, in the car. Okay, so let's say you're driving with a girl and she's in the passenger seat. A great way to escalate is getting her to shift to the gears for you. So what you're going to do is ask if she is good at driving and say, nah, you're a shitter, let's shift gears and see if you're any good. Now, if you have an automatic, boohoo, fucking get over it. I have an automatic as well, I'm not gonna lie. I just get to do the paddle shifters, that's what I do. Anyway, so then what you're gonna do is you're gonna place your hand over hers and escalate from there. Pretty easy. Now from there you just need to see her choosing signals and see if you can escalate further. Now I'm going to explain choosing signals a little bit later on in the guide, but for now let's focus on this. So basically what this looks like is you're sat in the car with a girl, you tell her to shift gears for you, you basically make an assumption about her being a terrible driver, put your hand on top of her hand, it's going to make her giggle, it's going to make her laugh. Eventually you can grab her thigh, you can grab her leg, you might even be able to touch her pussy and clit, whatever, right? And then you can finger her, whatever it is that comes to mind. And then from there, you're going to end up either having sex in the car in the back seats, or at least she's going to suck you off while you're driving, which is the usual scenario. Anyway, escalation scenario number 3, as soon as you meet. So as soon as you meet a girl on a date, here's what you're going to do. You're going to basically go in for the hug. Always go in for the hug. Then from there, you're going to hold eye contact and back off to give her a tease. So basically, you're going to hug her, you're going to push her away from you, you're going to stare her in the eyes, and then boom, from there, you're going to let go. Then you're going to repeat her name to her and introduce yourself and make a comment about her height, such as being super short. This usually turns the girl on a lot, especially if they're significantly shorter than you. Okay, if they're significantly shorter than you, and most girls are because I'm 6'3", 6'2", or whatever, girls are significantly shorter than me most of the time, this is really lovely. Like, it's just a great trick, okay? Now, if she's the same height, please don't do this because you're just going to look retarded. If the girl is the same height as you and she's about 5'8" and you're about 5'8", please do not do this. You're gonna look like a retard, okay? Anyway, instead just say you're different to what you look like in your pictures and literally just let it wander in her mind if it's a negative or positive. Okay, so basically you just made her feel insecure, but in turn now she's gonna try and prove herself to you and she's gonna press harder for the date to try and impress you. That's how girls are, they chase your validation. That's how all humans are. Anyway, escalation scenario number 4, the forehead trick. Okay, this is my trademark. This is literally my classical trademark, okay? I use this on every date I've ever been on. I don't think there's a single date I've not used this on, okay? This is my strategy, and I claim it hard. Like, literally, if anyone said this, they stole it from me. Anyway, it's a simple trick, and it can be used well if she has a big forehead. You move her hair out of the way, and basically, you just move it from head, and then tell her your hair was in the way, and then go and kiss her forehead. That's it. Now, if her forehead is small or normal, just do the same thing and flick the hair out of the way and still going for the kiss. But girls, particularly with a big forehead, they really like it because they're insecure about their forehead, and you can tell they're insecure about their forehead because they usually hide it with their hair, especially if they have like bangs or whatever, right? If they have like middle part bangs or whatever it is, right? And they're hiding their forehead, they're really insecure about it. And if you can make them feel comfortable / secure about it, then guess what? You're in their winning books and they're going to worship you. It's pretty easy, right? So it comes off as a Prince Charming vibe and girls crave that. Now it gives you an excuse as well to get a kiss in, which ends up helping you to build up to the end goal of sex, which is for the most of us anyways. Most of us watching this channel probably want to have sex and go on dates and do degenerate stuff, just as I do. Anyway, but for those of you who want a long-term relationship as well, this still works the exact same. You're just going to use it on one girl instead of 200. That's the only difference. That's literally the only difference. You want a long-term relationship, instead of using this on 100 different girls, you just use it on one, okay? Anyway, moving on. Escalation scenario number 6, eating at a table V2. So here is another one for you when you're eating at a table, or whether you're at a restaurant or dinner or whatever, okay? So what you're going to do is grab a napkin and tell her she has something on her face. So then what you're going to do is you're just going to wipe her face basically, and I'm going to explain to you how this works. So basically she's going to get flustered and you're going to try to clean up. And then you'll say, no, not there, and you're literally just going to mess with her. You're literally just going to be like, you got something there, or you're not getting it, or it's not there, not quite, it's going to mess up, oh, you're messing your makeup, you're just going to fuck with her. That's the simple truth, you're just messing with her, okay? Now, then you're going to say, fine, here, let me get it for you, and then you lean in towards her and you make eye contact. That's pretty simple, right? So I know I just diluted it at the start. I was just like, yeah, you're going to lean and wipe her face, but hopefully that makes a bit more sense, okay? I'm hoping that shows you that that's how you perform. Anyway, then you clean her face with a napkin and say, much better, although you looked a bit cute with a mess on your face. A little bit of a cute remark. Girls like that stuff. Throw it in. Anyway, escalation scenario number 7, in the gym. So let's say you are in the gym, okay? And now this one is more for obviously a gym date. You can do this on any exercise, but legs are a great one, or a back workout. One of these two are usually the best. Don't do a chest day with a girl. They don't know how to fucking do chest day for shit. Every girl I've been with, they can't bench the bar. And if they can bench the bar, it's literally just maximum 40 kilos. And that's if they're a gym girl. And gym girls, they're too masculine and whatever, right? Okay, you get the point. So yeah, don't do chest push day, whatever the fuck it's called, okay? You don't do that. If you do that with a girl, just prepare to really fuck up, okay? There's just nothing good about it. But back and legs, really good. Anyway, what you're going to do is get her to do a squat or a lat pull down and tell her that her form is terrible. Then you'll say, let me correct your form for you. And if she's squatting, you literally just get behind her, okay? To make this really work, as fucked up as it is, make her lift a weight that's really heavy. Now, this is a bit fucked up, guys, okay? But I didn't say to you that this is going to be morally right. I didn't say to you this is going to be white, angelic tactics, okay? It is wrong. You're getting a girl to lift an absurd amount of weight. Now, on top of that, guys, please actually fucking know how to spot someone properly. Because if this girl dies because of you, because she fumbled a squat, you're going to look like a loser. Now, for me, I bench 3 plates still to this day, and my max is like 160, 170, okay? I can fucking lift a girl if they're struggling from a 60 kg, 80 kg squat. If you can't do that, don't fucking try this. Do the lat pull down, that's much better. Because that way, if she actually struggles to push that weight down, right, she's not going to put her life at risk. If you're getting a girl to squat a significant amount of weight just to challenge her so you can spot her to get into a sexual position, be prepared to actually catch that weight. Because if you can't catch that weight and she tumbles and she ends up injuring herself, which is the worst case scenario, or she doesn't injure herself but she still falls, she's probably going to go home and she's going to be upset and she's going to block you and never speak to you ever again. Okay, so bear in mind, when you do get a girl to squat, be reasonable with what you're telling her to do in terms of your own strength. I can get a girl to squat just about any weight and I'll be fine with spotting her. if your max bench is something like 60, do not get a girl to squat fucking 80 kilos because you will kill her and you'll lose the date for yourself. Go for a lat pull down or something else instead, please. I'm saying this because someone that I've helped and ran their Tinder account for made this mistake, and I'm not naming any names, but yeah, okay? Moving on. Tell her that you got her back, and this way you'll be forced into spotting her. So yeah, you're basically just forcing yourself into a position where you have to spot her, and she's gonna fail because of the weight you're gonna choose. You're gonna choose a weight that's reasonably high, but not ridiculously high. So for example, if her max is like a 45 kg squat, you're gonna make her do 55, or you're gonna make her do 50. Because this way, she will fail. And if she doesn't fail, then you're gonna make her go even higher anyways, okay? Your goal is to make it seem like you're pushing her to do her best, but in reality, your evil intentions, you degenerate little fucker, is to make her fail, so then she gets saved by you and she ends up falling in love with you and she ends up getting in a position where she's pushing her dick against your ass. So yeah, pretty cool, right? Anyway, moving on. Escalation scenario number 8, at the beach. Okay, so let's say if you take a girl for a date to the beach, this is a really great one. You're going to hit the waters and swim with her. So yeah, you're just going to go into the waters, the salty ocean or whatever the fuck you want to call it, and you're going to mess with it. You're going to throw water at her just to build up tension, and you're just going to be literally just flicking water at her, throwing it at her, and then she's going to start getting touchy, you're going to get touchy, and now that it's physical, here comes the fun part. You're going to go really far to the deep end, and if she's a short girl, she can't swim, she's going to struggle. Now, you're going to make her follow you regardless, and when she does struggle, you pick her up and carry her back. Now, guys, please don't do this if you can't swim. If you can't swim or you can't pick a girl up, don't do this. She's going to fucking drown, and you're going to fuck up big time, okay? Guys, if you cannot swim, please don't do it. I can't even believe I have to say this, but there's people that have fucking done this, and the people that I've helped, and I literally failed to explain this to you because I thought it was common knowledge when I ran the Tinder accounts for them, just fuck me, okay? These are coming from real life experiences and people I've helped and taught, okay? So please, please, I beg you, do not do that, okay? Because there's some serious shit that will go wrong. Anyway, moving on. Let me give you some conversation tips for when you're basically having conversations with a girl on a date. So here's some tips for when you're holding conversation with a girl. Starting off, let's discuss the forward method. This essentially means you should be talking about these key topics. Now, bear in mind, this is a last resort if you run out of things to say. Otherwise, this is really bad. It's just a crutch for those who suck at flirting. So if you're good at flirting, you won't really need this, but if you're kind of like a newbie or you struggle at flirting, this is going to help you a lot, okay? You're going to basically talk about her family, her occupation, recreation, and dreams. Now, recreation means like her hobbies or whatever, okay? So what she does in her pastime, if you're wondering. Anyway, these are topics you're going to discuss on a date if you're struggling to flirt, okay? If you're not struggling to flirt and you know how to make cute remarks, be charismatic, make assumptions, you don't need this. This is just a crutch, as I mentioned. Now, something else I should mention and add in as a note that I failed to mention on this slides, but it's just coming to my head now, is on a date, you need to be comfortable with silence. If a girl is silent while you're eating, you should be comfortable with that. When I'm sat with my boys at a dinner or I'm at Miller & Carter or a steakhouse or something, right? Like any place really, okay? I'm just using an example because it's just a really nice place. You oftentimes go silent, even when you're eating with your family. What difference is it with a girl? You don't need to be the clown that's talking in her ear every 10 seconds, okay? You have to be comfortable with silence. And if she goes silent and is not speaking to you and she's on her phone, you shouldn't care. You should check her at least once and tell her to get her off of her phone if she's being really bad with it. Like if she checks the phone once or twice, it's whatever, okay, who cares? But if she's consistently like checking her phone, yeah, you should tell her off. But if she's looking at it briefly, fine, whatever. But if she goes silent and she's not talking to you on the date, is what I'm trying to say is be comfortable with it. Just not care. In fact, push the silence onto her. What you're going to do is you're going to sit there and you're going to enjoy your food and you're not going to give a flying fuck. Literally. She's going to look at you and she's like, why is he not folding? Why is he not becoming a talking clown? And in turn, she's going to end up ratting herself out and start speaking like a little bitch. So it's your choice. Do you want her to be your little bitch or do you want to be her little bitch? And in my personal preference and taste, she should be my submissive little bitch, okay? So you should take that to heart and genuinely just get comfortable with fucking silence, okay? So conversation tip number 2 before I get off a rant or tangent or a rant or whatever, okay? Okay, so this one's a bit more advanced, but it's useful and should be used always. If you can do this, you will do well in all areas of life and dating, okay? On a date, you should always aim to make wild assumptions about her. This one's pretty simple and easy to follow and it's straightforward. Okay, so whether this be her lifestyle or whatever she likes, use it to tease her. If she's dyed her head red, you're going to comment on the fact that she dyed it because of her ex and she's in her crazy phase. Or if she's blonde, you're going to make a joke about her being a dumb blonde or whatever, okay? Now, another assumption is assuming she's terrible at something like cooking. Then she's going to start validating herself. Now, before you eat her meal, tell her to use her manners. Do not eat like a slob and try to flirt with her, okay? So you might say that you need to flirt with her if she does. So for example, let me give you a scenario. If I'm eating at a dinner place with a girl and it's a really nice high-end restaurant, or any restaurant is fine, like Zzz's or whatever, okay? You don't have to go to an expensive one. I'm talking like low range is fine, okay? Nando's is also fine, even though it's a low range restaurant. You're going to tell her, don't eat like a slob, but make sure that you eat with your manners, otherwise I'm going to have to feed you. If you say something like that, it's going to come off as flirtatious and she's going to start like laughing and flirting back with you, okay? It ends really well. I'm not going to tell you what they're going to say because it could end in hundreds of different ways and it's just pointless, okay? Anyway, another good assumption you can make is about her being a lightweight. If you're drinking with a girl, you could say to her that she's a lightweight and she can't handle her drink. This is going to end up leading to her drinking ridiculous and ludicrous amounts. And as long as, you're able to look after her and take care of her, please don't use this advice in the wrong way, okay? Some of you guys are some terrible people out there. Please don't use this advice in the wrong way. Some of the stuff I'm teaching is really fucked up and powerful, but I'm hoping it ends in the right hands. Anyway, moving on. I'm going to give you guys a powerful tactic to have sex, okay? So moving on from all of that stuff before I get off on another tangent, let me give you a tactical strategy, okay? So this is basically, let me explain to you, when you go back to her place or your place and you're in your apartment and you're basically gonna end up having sex together eventually and you're just not quite there yet, but you're really close. The tension's there. She's in the same apartment / room as you, whatever, okay? You're in the place. You've brought her back or you're at her place. What you're going to start with is basically tell her to come sit next to you if she isn't ready. You're going to pat the seat down and you're going to tell her come here if she needs further encouragement. And obviously most girls will listen and do what they're told to do because they want to be seen as a submissive good girl. Then what you're going to do is start playing with her hands. You're going to comment on her rings and you're going to talk about the difference of size in fingers. And then you're going to match up your hand to hers and see how much bigger it is. It doesn't matter what the fuck you do. Basically, your goal here is to see if she actually will allow you to touch her. Okay, if she's not pulling away, she's okay with it. If she's matching your energy, she's massaging your fingers, you're quite literally in the gold zone, okay? And after you played with her hands for a little bit, what you're going to do is you're going to play with her hair, okay? You're going to twirl it around your fingers and ask her the longest she's had her hair. You're going to place your hand on her back, and while asking a question, and you're going to add a little bit of touch to her back, even a little bit more. You're going to also grab a handful of hair at the back base of her skull and hold it up. And you're going to say to her, I want to see what you look like with a ponytail. And then what you're going to do is you're going to pull on the ponytail, and this will basically make her think that, you're going to fuck her in doggy style, okay? By pulling her hair. Now, most women get turned on by this and they get really horny, and eventually this is going to lead to you fucking at some point. And if you're not, then what you're going to do is you're going to pull her legs on top of yours, and then you're going to let them sit there. Now, this is basically cuddling, okay? It's letting you two relax, whatever. Now, you're going to massage her thighs, you're going to get your hand close to her pussy, and now she's going to be super turned on. Then after that, you're going to give her a back massage, okay? Now, you're going to feel tense. You're going to basically sit in front of me and you're going to massage her back. This is what you're going to say to her. You feel tense? Sit in front of me. I'll massage your back, okay? That's what you're going to say. Quote unquote, just say that. Now, her ass is now in your crotch and you massage her back. You're probably hard at this point and she's getting excited too because she's got a 10-inch boner in her. Okay, I'm joking. You guys might not have a 10-inch. I don't have a 10-inch. I'm just being sarcastic. But both of you in this state of the game, you know what's going to happen. Now, you can go and have sex at this point if you want, but if you haven't, what you're going to do is you're going to start giving her kisses on the cheek and you're just going to start kissing her neck. You're going to literally start giving her a hickey, okay? You're going to suck on her neck. Now, this is just going to give her a warm-up to get to the point of having sex. Now, if you're still not having sex at this point, start talking low and slow and have a seductive voice. Now, what you're going to do is you're going to pull in for the kiss. Now, she knows it's coming, and just by tipping her chin up, she's looking down. Or you're going to turn her head if she's sitting in front of you. Now, the kiss should start full-blown makeout, and your hands should be all over each other. Now, there's going to be some grinding, there's going to be some kissing, whatever, okay? There's going to be some sex. Now, she's going to put her hand on your dick, basically on top, like, you're still going to be clothed at this point, and you're going to let her massage and grab it. In fact, you can put her hand on top of your hand and basically let her get a better feel for it. Now, soon after, she should take your clothes off, or you'll take yours off, whatever. And this is basically where you end up having sex with her. Now, I'm not going to tell you anything else beyond that because it's just going to be softcore porn. And I kind of don't want any more takedowns on my YouTube channel because I've talked about some stuff on this YouTube channel that was too potent and they've made me suffer. Anyway, there is so much more I wish I could cover, but that's pretty much about it, guys. I'm going to leave that for another time, but I'm really, really hoping this helps you out because guys, all I want you guys to do is perform really well in dating, okay? That's all that matters to me, okay? So I'm hoping this helps you escalate with girls on dates, because I saw a lot of you struggling with basically on what to do with the date, especially with the guys where I run their Tinder accounts to them. A lot of them had problems with escalating. So I made this guide to help them, and those who are watching these videos and, you know, they don't know me personally, they don't speak to me, that's fine. But I hope this guide just helps you. That's all I care about. That's all I give a shit about. Just helping and giving you the most valuable advice I can. That's all I care about, literally. I don't script these videos. I don't care about that shit. I'm really like chill. I just want you to get the best results humanly possible. That's it, okay? So now that you have my wisdom in part in dating and escalating with girls, you're going to see the game differently, okay? So now you have the power to escalate with any girl with ease. Now you have the ability to see reality for what it is, and now you can make decisions that will get you to the dream outcome faster and easier, which is probably sex or a long-term relationship or whatever. So I genuinely hope this has served you really well, and this is genuinely like most of my knowledge that I use to help guys, my dating experience in the last 10 years, okay? It is really that straightforward and simple. Now, obviously, there's a lot more complex psychology, dating tactics, and stuff that I use that really helps me with models and 10 out of 10 beautiful girls. I'm talking about models that I date. But this should get you far enough, okay? This should get you really far in the game. You're going to be better than most of the men in the game. This enough is alone, okay? I don't need to teach you advanced stuff. If you want to learn that stuff, you know where to find me. You know how to get access to me. You know what you got to do. Now, here's my aim with these guys: to pour as much value as humanly possible so you can be uber successful in dating beautiful women. And my ultimate goal is to positively impact the dating world for men so they can enjoy dating once again. And I'll do this one man at a time, no matter what it takes. I'm going to transform every guy, no matter what it takes, to get a success in dating and hopefully find the one that they love, or just to be a degenerate like me. Anyway, I hope that you enjoyed this guide, because I enjoyed making it, and it was kind of a chill guide. It was kind of non-professional, but I enjoyed it.